Something's been waiting under there a while. "20-odd years since this saw daylight. The last time it did, it had an owner, a tax disc, and somewhere it was going. Now, it's just got me. It hasn't moved under its own power for years. Strapped in like it matters, because it does. While this thing sat in the garden under the tarp, the world lost its mind. We locked ourselves in the house. Prime ministers came and went like bus timetables. Folk started arguing on the internet for a living, and somehow pictures of monkeys became worth more than some cars. It never noticed, but we're about to change that.
Kun je?
"20-odd years leaves a mark. This is what waiting looks like up close. First job's no fixing anything. The first job's just letting it breathe again." Somebody bought this new once, had plans for it, places to go, roads to ride. Then somewhere along the way, life got in the road. Different decade, different machine, same shed. The strange thing is, this isn't a machine that's worn out. It's a machine that never got its chance. 20 odd years asleep. Nobody's looking for it. Nobody was missing it. But before this thing turns a wheel again, we've got to answer a question. Is it worth saving? An easy job first. Get the seat off. A few bolts and it came off. Now, full disclosure, I know nothing about Vespas, nothing. So here's the deal, it's not going to be a how-to, I'm going to be taking them apart, I'll be making mistakes, it's going to take us a long time, but it will get rebuilt. Everything that comes off them is going to get bagged and tagged, just like a mortuary. Because at this point, that's generally what this is. We don't know yet if it's a post-mortem or an operation. So the seat itself is actually complete and okay. So hopefully just a big clean up and we'll be good to go with that. Now, fair warning, before you subscribe, expecting a gleaming Vespa by next Tuesday. This is going to be slow, he is rotten, and I am learning as I go. I do have a life, but you will see all of it, the wins, the disasters, and everything I drill the head off along the way. But if you do fancy tagging along for it, the wins and the disasters, all of it, you're more than welcome. There's room in the shed. And yes, he's watching. Look at him. 1371cc of aluminium, pure perfection, watching his owner muck about with a rust bucket. Maybe I should buy a manual. I started taking off all the bolts, only to realise that I only needed to take out 2. Fortunately, the spare was flat, so no disasters there. I don't think any of the wheels are going to be savable, to be honest. They're all pretty rotten. Is that a pig? Look at it, snout and everything. I think this is him telling me straight to my face, this is going to be a pig of a job. The first real fight, the seat rack. The bolts had been sat in Scottish weather for decades, and they had decided that they live there now. Nothing moved them, so out came the drill. It's not elegant, but neither is he. Eventually victory. So we might hang on to this rotten rack, refurbish it, get it powder coated. It came with the bike, so possibly. And then there's this tank. 20 odd years of stale two-stroke sat festering in there. And I want you to understand something. You can't smell this video. Count yourself lucky. I tried to ignore it. Crack on, mind over matter. But it's not a smell you can ignore. It's a smell that follows you around the room. And here's what's really getting me. I just did my shed up, just finished it, and within an hour of it being in here, the whole place smells like a chip shop fire in a petrol station. That's the thanks you get. I gave him a roof, and he stinks the house out. So before anything else gets stripped off this bike, this is getting evicted. The first major part removed. Not for restoration reasons, but for antisocial behaviour. Tank liberated. The smelly thing. Banished. The other shed. Beside the lawnmower. Banished to the stinky shed. Every time I touch them, something falls off. I'm used to nice aluminium frames. This is not that. This is a bike held together by paint and optimism, and the paint's rapidly disappearing. And listen, if you've made it this far, thank you. And if you know these machines, I could use you. Anything I'm about to do wrong, anything I should be looking at before I get there, stick it in the comments. I did say I was too tight to buy the manual. Turns out the manual might be you lot. Let's see if we can save this Vespa. Aye, great start. Bolt sheared clean off. No warning, no drama, just gone. Everything's going great at this stage, apart from the snap bolts. Stick with me though, because further down in this video we will find something that could nearly end this entire build. Rear lens coming off. I see the light. Shame it's 2 episodes too late, eh? To get the cluster off, I realised my hand has to go up right behind the mudguard. And it's all webs in there, years of them. So now I'm not just wondering what I'm going to find, I'm wondering what's going to find me first. I'm hoping it's just the webs and not the residents, but I was in a bit of a hurry. So the cluster came off relatively easy, to be fair. Disconnected the wires, still nice and shiny, water hadn't got into that, no like the rest of the damn thing. And it stuck, it actually stuck. Genuinely didn't expect that. Everything else on this bike's fought me every step of the way. First thing that's gone right all day. And there's another sheared bolt. Right then, so this is no bad luck anymore. It's a pattern. The bike's not been awkward. This bike's going to have a system, I think. So I'm probably going to change these indicators out for smoked or clear. I'm not sure yet, but we're definitely not keeping orange. This seems to have been, bolt's not bad. Right, time to get this headlight cowl off. Let's see what nasties are sitting underneath here. So I wonder what's been on here before, because these are all loose. So I'm presuming that the 4 bolts underneath the headlight are for a carrier or something like that. I'm not sure. So I'm quite impressed at how easy this is to come apart. It's pretty straightforward, really. It's almost like it's been apart before. And it's crazy because some of these nuts and bolts come out like they've just been fitted, yet there's some of them absolutely solid. I was genuinely a wee bit apprehensive here, just in case anything flew out at me. Anything moving. Let's just pop the hoover on it to be sure. So I don't know if that was me being a bit too vigorous, pushing the hoover into these wee crevices, but it looked like it had been broke for some time, to be fair. We're not going to use the headlight anyway, we're going to change it, so yeah, it doesn't really matter. I think that's been snapped for some time. Same with the speedo cable, it's already broken. We're not going to be using it, so we'll just get it pulled up and out. Bloody thing about whipping me in the face though. So the reason we don't need the cable is because I'm going to go full GPS. In the bin with you. So I used WD-40 and a drill bit that was blunt for dramatic effect here. Look at that lovely smoke. And no surprise, more rot. Just another way to heat up the plastic so that I can pop it open. What is it they say? If in doubt, get a clout. I could just get the snips out, cut through everything that's in my way, have this stripped in 10-20 minutes. But that's not really how you get to know something, is it? So, slow, careful, working out what he'll give up easy and what he's going to make me fight for. Turns out mostly the second one, I think, the way this is going. You can rebuild a bike from nothing. New everything. Looks apart. I've done it with the GSX-R. but that's not what this is. Because somewhere under the rust and the dead spiders and the 20 odd years of nobody caring, there's still a Vespa in here. My job's not to replace that, it's to find it again. So some of it will stay, warts and all. And we're going to keep all these parts, just for the reference numbers. Most will still probably get replaced or upgraded, but you know what, it's best just to hang on to stuff, just in case. And I was quite impressed. Colour coding. Pity all manufacturers didn't do colour coding, eh? Nah, my fingers keep finding their way into holes in this thing. Right, I'll leave that one alone, I think. Bagged and tagged. You need to make sure everything's bagged and tagged. Right then, this is a bit that I've been putting off. Because surface rust I can deal with. Surface rust is cosmetic. Surface rust is a Sunday afternoon with a wire brush. This is not that. Engine's filthy, 20 odd years of grime, oil gone to tar, the lot. But dirt is not the same as dead. Dirty comes off with patience in a rag. Structural doesn't come off with anything. So this I can work with. This is no surface rust anymore. This is structural. And structural's a different conversation. Structural's the difference between a restoration and a rescue. Now, topside you can see what you're dealing with before you touch it. Under here, you're finding out as you go. And what I'm finding, I'm not loving. Jesus, it's growing something. Now this is different. A hole is no rust anymore. A hole is where Russ finished the job and moved on. And it's no just the one. Metal doesn't just disappear in one spot and leave the rest alone. If it's gone here, it's thinking about going everywhere else as well. So here's where we are. 20 odd years under a tarp will do that to a bike. I knew that going in. I just didn't know how much of him it had actually taken. We might have lost him. Deep within the familiar ecosystem of the British backyard shed, our long sleeping specimen remains, the Vespa PX200, now known as RIP, continues its slow emergence from a 20-year slumber. The environment has not changed. The damp air still stings. The shadows still guard their secrets. But today marks a new stage in the Vespa's resurrection. For 2 decades, RIP lay dormant beneath a brittle tarpaulin. 20 years of Scottish moisture whispered decay into its bones, while the tarp trapped the damp in a grim, self-contained greenhouse. It was an environment perfectly engineered for ruin, yet somehow the Vespa has endured. The investigation began at the front. Removing the horn cover exposed the nerve centre, a chaotic junction of wires and frame. Each connection was separated. Since leaving the factory at the turn of the millennium, RIP has outlived governments, trends, and yet another British Prime Minister. Empires rise and fall, but the Vespa remains, and so does the corrosion. Removing the ignition was pretty straightforward. Once I found out that you had to push a little pin up inside the barrel. Despite the rust, despite the neglect, a fragile hope has lingered. After 20 years of slumber, perhaps RIP will rise again. Perhaps a long sleep has preserved more than it destroyed. Perhaps this modern day classic will get its second chance. But to free the upper cabling, a ritual had to be performed. The handlebars detached completely, allowing the wiring to be coaxed through a series of tiny, unforgiving apertures. Only after a prolonged struggle did the design reveal its secret, a single hidden angle of escape. With the handlebars finally defeated, the dismantling accelerated. Throughout his entire existence, Rip has only known one human, one owner of its entire mechanical fate. From the day it rolled out of the factory to the moment it vanished beneath a tarpaulin, this machine lived a life of absolute loyalty. No fleet of owners, no parade of riders, just one person, and then 20 years of silence. The stage was finally becoming set for the final evacuation of the central nervous system. In the natural world, names carry power, and so I christened the dormant Vespa Rip, not for death, but for Rip Van Winkle. This is a machine that slept through decades, missing entire eras of human life. A scooter that closed its eyes one century and opened them in another. The toolbox was evicted from the leg shields. The stage was now firmly set for that final evacuation of the 26-year-old loom. Under the tank cavity, a space once reserved for fuel and Italian ambition, we uncover something unexpected. A mouse house. A luxury residence built from stolen insulation, garden fluff, and what looks suspiciously like the remains of a crisp packet. While Rip slept for 20 years, this wee architect moved in, paid no rent, and enjoyed full access to a warm, dry penthouse with excellent security. As I lift the nest out, one thing becomes clear. Rip didn't just hibernate, he hosted a tenant. With the structural void exposed, the purge began. The wire loom, the remaining part of the loom, had to be removed. Rot had made delicacy unnecessary. No draw cables needed, no finesse, only a brutal extraction of copper and plastic from a dying shell. and with a final desperate pull, it yielded. The old loom collapsed onto the floor like a pile of deeply offended spaghetti. The chassis was now empty. Vital signs, zero. Under the tank cavity, we find a hole of catastrophic proportions. Now, there's no way the mouse ate all this, but judging by the size of its wee luxury nest, I'm not ruling out that it definitely tried. But Rip is resisting. Accustomed to the darkness of under the tarp, it's fighting resurrection. A single bolt has fused itself to the chassis, choosing death by oxidization over the indignity of restoration. It just would not move. It would not yield. It had become the final guardian of the exhaust, and it absolutely refused to let go. First we loosen off the header bolt, with the stupidity of thinking that it would just drop off. How wrong was I? With the bolt refusing all negotiation, diplomacy collapsed. I reached for the most ancient tools in the human arsenal, a chisel and a lump hammer. What follows was not a mechanical work, but a grim prehistoric ritual. Each strike reverberated through the shed, steel on rust, echoing like distant thunder. The exhaust was not removed, it was executed, severed from the host in a series of brutal and uncompromising blows. People in the comment sections have been suggesting doing media blasting and powder coating for the running gear. An optimistic plan, but as the frame's condition becomes clear, a chilling realisation's emerged. By the end of this project, Rip might become Trigger's broom of the Vespa world. The handle replaced, the brush replaced, and the question remains, is it still the same scooter? As the amputated exhaust fell away, the truth emerged. The fragile hope that the steel had somehow endured evaporated instantly. Fe2O3, iron oxide, a silent predator that had eaten far too deep. The parasite had been feeding for years, and now its devastation was laid bare. Yet, even in the face of devastation, I refused to surrender. Rip had slept for 20 years. It deserved its chance. Machines, like men, can outlive their failures, and sometimes resurrection is simply a matter of will. Victory, in its nature, is often a cruel illusion. The removal of the exhaust revealed a vast, gaping void where structural steel once stood. Liberation had delivered truth, and the truth was catastrophic. The full horror of 20 years under the tarp have revealed itself. No triumph, no certainty, only the quiet, heavy truth of what lay ahead. A single question settled into the air. Had I done the right thing? Or had I willingly invited a financial and psychological parasite into my life? In every ecosystem, there comes a moment when a creature must be exposed to the light. Today, that creature is a 2000 Vespa. In the light is a bare shed bulb. Because once Rip is stripped to the bare bones, the truth beneath will decide his fate. Resurrection or extinction. Today, we will find out his fate. We've been here before. Handlebars off, cables threaded free, one small step in a longer investigation. Back then, it was a detour, a means to an end. Not the end itself. This time is different. This time the handlebars don't go back on. Not today, not for a long while, because this isn't a detour anymore. This is the beginning of the final dismantle, the point where Rip stops being a project with parts still attached and starts being a specimen, laid bare, piece by piece, until nothing is left standing between us and the truth of him. Some journeys end all at once. This one ends slowly, bolt by bolt, wire by wire. I came prepared for a fight, hammer and chisel in hand. The same tools that beat the seized exhaust bolt into submission back in episode 4. The same tools I used to straighten a rally grifter's forks after a jump involving, as far as I can remember, 10 of my mates lying down in a row under a ramp. 80s kids didn't need risk assessments, we needed a run up. That one took a fight, the forks were bent, the bike was wounded, the hammer and chisel was the only way anything was coming apart back then. This one didn't. No war, no siege, just movement. And it lets go on the proper first tap. It was like simply waiting to be asked politely. Not every seized part is an enemy. Some of them are just patient. The fork link comes free. Rip goes down slow, front end first, folding like a dressage horse dropping to its knees, not falling, kneeling. No majesty in it, mind. I needed to use a hammer to brace against his heavy right side, the side that's always carried the weight, engine and all. Holding decades of Italian engineering with a lump hammer. All the last cables will go the way that others went. Cut clean, no ceremony, long past being useful. They don't need careful treatment, just a blade and it's done. The oil line is different. This isn't nervous system, this is circulation. Whatever life Rip has left is still, technically, running through it. Sever it carelessly and it doesn't just disconnect, it bleeds. So this one comes free by hand, slow, deliberate. Unhooked, not severed. Because some parts of a teardown deserve force and some don't. Every long-running documentary picks up a recurring cast eventually. Today, we welcome a guest appearance. Because apparently, and I'm quoting a concerned member of the audience directly here, is there no WD-40 where you live? There is. There's actually rather a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, WD-40, doing what WD-40 does, whether the bolt strictly asked for it or not. Back to business. The nut gets cracked, reluctant, but it moves. A tap to confirm it, just to be certain there is no hidden resistance left in it, no last stand. Rip goes on to his side next. Not a collapse this time, a repositioning. The final angle before the heart itself could come free. And here, our first proper glimpse at the rotten underbelly of Rip. 2 more cables cut, the last of the old nervous system gone. Everything left standing between us and the engine is time. 1 bolt, the length of it running clean through the frame and engine both. Not fixing 2 parts together, but holding an entire relationship in place. Everything Rip is, right now, depends on this single piece of threaded steel. The same one that earned our guest star his cameo earlier. With a little persuasion, nothing more. Whatever the WD-40 did, it did its job. The bolt slides clear, with a little bit of coaxing rather than a fight. The rear shock breaks free. No real resistance in it at all. Not surprising really, I suppose. It's had a fair few years off hiding under that tarp. The heart has been removed. The body is lighter now, almost weightless. Only one position remains, the one no living owner has witnessed since this machine left the factory. In the wild, an iceberg reveals very little of itself. The polished summit catches the light. The true story waits beneath the surface. Rip got his ocean, briefly. A couple of years on the road. Real miles, real weather, real life. Then the drift stopped. He calved from the factory floor, and for a while, at least, he moved. But the sea has a way of freezing over. He landed under a heavy tarpaulin and stayed there for 20 years, presenting only what could be seen: white paint, clean lines, the quiet confidence of a machine that appeared to have survived remarkably well. But appearances are patient deceivers. And here, the hidden world finally emerges. The underside didn't freeze. It fed the rust. Rust does not announce itself. It does not strike. It simply persists. Oxygen, moisture, time, asking for nothing more than stillness. Steel does not surrender all at once. It retreats slowly and silently until one day there is simply less of it. This landscape wasn't carved overnight. It took 20 Scottish years to hollow those edges, to erase the metal that once left the factory perfectly smooth. 20 years of stillness looks, from above, like sleep. From below, it looks like a siege. Every siege ends in a choice. Do we cut away the years with sandblasting, or do we let chemistry unwind them more gently? Rip has waited 20 years already. He can wait a little longer for us to get this one right.